Good morning, students. Today let us discuss enthalpy of atomization. Enthalpy of atomization nothing but the change in heat energy involved when 1 mole of a given substance dissociates into gaseous atoms is called enthalpy of atomization. Already you know that any substance may be existing in the form of solids or liquids or gases. In the gaseous state, the molecules are the substance is in molecular state. In liquid state, the substances are in molecular state, but these molecules are in a group. In the same way, the substances are in group in solid state. Let us know that this is a lump of a substance. In this lump, different molecules are there. The combination of different molecules make a big lump. Like this, the molecules are there. Whenever we heat it, what happens? These molecules will be independent. They are separated. Again on heating, these molecules converts to independent atoms. Here atoms, here molecules, here group of molecules. So whatever the energy you are supplying here, it is not the enthalpy of atomization. Whatever the energy you are supplying here is the enthalpy of atomization. Means here the molecules, here the substance in the molecular state, and these are gaseous independent molecules. Whenever we supply heat energy, the atoms from the molecule are separated, and this energy is nothing but enthalpy of atomization. Enthalpy of atomization nothing but the change in heat energy involved when 1 mole of a given substance dissociate into gaseous atoms. It may be a liquid, it may be a solid, whatever it may be. Whatever the energy we are supplying to convert them into gaseous, that is not the enthalpy of atomization. It is not considered as enthalpy of atomization. Enthalpy of atomization is only when a molecule in the gaseous state convert to atoms in the gaseous state. So that energy is nothing but enthalpy of atomization. Okay, here some examples are given. It is represented by delta H not A. Hydrogen, 2 hydrogen atoms. Enthalpy of atomization is 435 kilojoules per mole. Sodium to gaseous sodium, delta H naught is 108 kilojoules per mole. To convert 1 molecule of methane or 1 mole of methane to carbon and hydrogen, the amount of heat energy is 1665 kilojoules. So here the enthalpy of atomization nothing but conversion of a gaseous molecule into gaseous atoms. The difference in the change in heat energy is nothing but enthalpy of atomization. Whenever we compare these two, enthalpy of atomization of hydrogen is 435 kilojoules, whereas for sodium it is 108 kilojoules. It means that a solid sodium can be converted into gaseous sodium atoms very easily compared to conversion of hydrogen molecule into hydrogen atom. So hydrogen molecule is more stable compared to sodium, solid sodium. So by this value we can say, we can decide whether the molecule is stable or unstable. Okay, this is about enthalpy of atomization. Some other enthalpies are there which are not in your syllabus. In brief, I am going to explain all those things. enthalpy of ionization. Enthalpy of ionization nothing but the amount of heat change involved whenever an atom is converted into ion. So that energy nothing but enthalpy of ionization. Ionization enthalpy is also same, but ionization enthalpy is independent atoms are there, whereas in ionization enthalpy here we consider ionization of HCl. Ionization of HCl, whenever we ionize this HCl, we are getting H plus and Cl minus. The amount of heat energy involved from the formation of a covalent molecule into ions, that is nothing but enthalpy of ionization. Okay, next, enthalpy of formation of ions. There is some ionic compound is there, sodium chloride is there, potassium chloride is there, calcium chloride is there, or any other ionic compound is there. Whenever we dissolve this in water, heat means the breaking of a solid compound into ions will take place, that is called ionization, and amount of heat energy supplied by water or solvent is nothing but enthalpy of formation of ions. Okay, next, enthalpy of hydration. Already I told you, whenever a compound, an ionic compound is dissolved in water, each ion is surrounded by water molecules, means there is a bond between water, and ions. Wherever there is formation of bond, energy is released. So here the amount of heat energy released or amount of heat energy involved in this reaction nothing but hydration, enthalpy of hydration. Then enthalpy of hydrogenation, already you know, hydrogenation nothing but addition of hydrogen to unsaturated compound. We have a compound which is having carbon-carbon double bond, means some unsaturation in the molecule is there. So the heat energy involved, amount of heat energy involved or heat change during the addition of hydrogen to this unsaturated molecule, that energy is nothing but enthalpy of hydrogenation. Understood? It is an unsaturated compound and it can add hydrogen to this. During this process there is change in enthalpy, change in heat energy of the system, and that heat energy of the system nothing but enthalpy of hydrogenation. Okay, next, enthalpy of allotropic transformation. You know allotropes nothing but the compounds having same chemical formula, chemically they are same, but physically different. Their chemical composition is same, but their physical properties are different. Their chemical properties are same, but physical properties are different. For example, graphite and diamond. These two are allotropes of carbon. Graphite and diamond are called allotropes of carbon, means graphite resembles to diamond chemically, but physical properties of graphite are different from physical properties of diamond. You know, this is very soft, whereas this one is very strong or hard. It has different structure, it is having different structure. Because of different structure they have different physical property. Graphite appears different, diamond appears different, but chemically both are same. How you say graphite and diamond are chemically same? Means how you say, on what basis you are going to say that graphite and diamond chemically same, chemically they have same composition? See, whenever we heat 1 gram of graphite in presence of oxygen, that is on heating, it is giving only carbon dioxide. Here 1 gram of diamond, whenever we heat in presence of oxygen, it is also giving only carbon dioxide. Means 1 gram graphite will give carbon dioxide on burning. 1 gram diamond also give carbon dioxide on burning. Here amount of carbon dioxide, amount of diamond may be different because they have different structure. Therefore there may be some difference in their amount of carbon dioxide may be different, but chemically they are same because both compounds are giving carbon dioxide and there is no any other elements other than carbon. Understood? For example, if diamond has sulfur, then along with carbon dioxide it may be having sulfur dioxide. If diamond has nitrogen, along with carbon dioxide it may be having nitrogen. It means if chemically diamond is different from graphite, there may be some other products, but here on heating we are getting only carbon dioxide in both the cases. So we can say chemically graphite and diamond are same. Okay, so these are some different types of enthalpies which we briefly I explained. Actually these are not required. If any NEET exams, while solving NEET exam papers, we will go through in detail about all this. Now I am going to stop here. Okay, let us move to the next. Enthalpy changes during phase transition. Phase nothing but state. Transition means change. Enthalpy changes during state transition means whenever a compound, whenever a substance change takes place from one state to another state, that change is nothing but transition. During that there is change in enthalpy, change in heat content of the system, that is nothing but enthalpy change. Already you know there are 3 states of matter: solid, liquid and gas. So we can convert a solid to liquid, we can convert a liquid to vapor or gas, we can convert a solid to vapor. In reverse, we can convert a vapor to solid, we can convert a vapor to a liquid, we can convert a liquid to a liquid to a solid. Means these are the different types of phase transition. State transition means changes. One state to another state, there is a transition, there is a change, gradual change. Okay. Then in that we are going to study enthalpy of fusion, enthalpy of vaporization, enthalpy of sublimation, which are very important and main one. Enthalpy of fusion. What do you mean by enthalpy of fusion? Already I told you. Solid substance. Actually a small lump of solid contains millions, trillions or more than Avogadro number of molecules which are in group. On heating they are converted into independent molecules. Okay, so enthalpy of fusion, already you know that in your previous classes, you know that solid, regular arrangement of particles are there, liquids, regular arrangement is not there, but between the molecules there is a fixed space is there. Otherwise I will repeat it. For example, if we have a solid, regular arrangement of particles is there. If it is a crystalline one, regular arrangement means the distance between the particles remains same. In all direction the distance is same, means there is a regularly they have arranged, whereas in liquids irregular arrangement is there. The particles somewhere the particles are very close, somewhere the particles are far, means irregular arrangement is there. Their direction, the arrangement of particles is not in a fixed direction. Here fixed direction is there, it means they have a fixed angle, but here you may not have a fixed angle, irregular arrangement is there. But the difference is the intermolecular space become a constant. There is no change in intermolecular space. For example, intermolecular space, think that it is 10 micron. Think it is not actually, it is not correct. Just for illustration I am saying here 10 micron. The distance between these two molecules is 10 micron. The distance between these two molecules may be 10 micron, means they are maintaining same distance, but this particle may be here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, means this particle will change its position with respect to this, but the distance between the particle and this respective particle remain constant. It means the distance is 10 micron only, but the position of the particle may be varies. That happens in liquids. Okay. Whereas in gases, irregular arrangement, the distance is not constant, the direction is also not constant. So this is the difference. Okay, means here the particles are regularly arranged, they have a strong attraction among the particles, because of that they have a fixed attraction force. To break that attraction force, we have to supply certain amount of heat energy. That heat energy depends upon the attraction force. So different substances need different energy, and we call them as different enthalpy of fusion. So enthalpy of fusion means the change in heat content of the system when 1 mole of a solid substance changes to liquid at its melting. At its melting point, the amount of heat energy required to convert 1 mole of solid into a 1 mole of liquid is nothing but enthalpy of fusion, and it is represented by delta H fusion. Here an example is that the molar enthalpy of fusion of ice is 6 kilojoules per mole, means to convert 18 gram of ice to water, we require 6 kilojoules of heat energy at 0 degree Celsius or 273 Kelvin. So this is nothing but enthalpy of fusion of ice at 0 degree Celsius or 273 Kelvin. Okay, freezing is the reverse of fusion. In fusion, we are converting a solid into liquid, whereas in freezing, we are converting a liquid into a solid. So that process is nothing but freezing. Freezing is the opposite process of fusion, reverse process of fusion. So here liquid water, 1 mole of liquid water is converted to solid water, that is ice, and here the enthalpy of freezing is minus 6 kilojoules per mole. Here the magnitude is same. Enthalpy of fusion is equals to enthalpy of freezing, but their sign is opposite. Here the amount heat energy we are supplying, here the heat energy is liberated. So this is about enthalpy of fusion. And enthalpy of fusion of different substances is different. Iron has different enthalpy of fusion, ice has different enthalpy of fusion, sulfur has different enthalpy of fusion. It means different solids have different enthalpy of fusion, because enthalpy of fusion depends upon nature of bonding among the molecules, nature of the bonding among the particles. So if they have a strong attraction force, they require more energy, and their enthalpy of fusion has more value. Weak attraction, less enthalpy of fusion. Okay, I think you understood this. Next one, enthalpy of vaporization. Vaporization nothing but conversion of a liquid into vapor. The vaporization will takes place at ordinary temperature also, not at all at boiling. But here, whenever we consider enthalpy of vaporization, we have to refer at boiling point of the liquid. Understood? For example, we have some water in our we took water in a plate. What happens after one day? There is decrease in the water. It means the water is vaporized. Small amount of water we have taken, immediately after 1 hour, 2 hour, water will be evaporated in summer. It means the water is not we are heating the water is not heating to 373 Kelvin or 100 degrees Celsius, but at low temperature it is evaporating. So but enthalpy of vaporization is, we have to consider at its boiling point, that is the amount of heat energy involved in the system when 1 mole of liquid substance changes to its vapor at its boiling point is called enthalpy of vaporization. Understood? Enthalpy of vaporization means amount of heat energy supplied, amount of heat energy absorbed by the system whenever 1 mole of a liquid changes to vapor at its boiling. For example, enthalpy of vaporization of water is 40.7 kilojoules. It means to convert 18 gram of water, liquid water, to gaseous water, water vapor at 373 Kelvin, it absorbs about 40.7 kilojoules of heat energy. Understood? Next, the condensation is the reverse of vaporization. Condensation process. Condensation means conversion of a vapor into liquid. So condensation is the reverse of vaporization, and it has the same value as enthalpy of vaporization but has opposite sign. That is, gaseous water is converted to liquid water. During that process, 40.7 kilojoules of heat energy is released. That much amount of heat energy is released, and we call enthalpy of condensation. It is equal to enthalpy of vaporization, but it has opposite sign. Sign is opposite. Here heat energy we are supplying, here the heat energy is released. Understood? So just I want to clear one point here. There is a difference between vapor and gas. Vapor, gas. We are going to say benzene vapors, vapors of benzene, vapors of alcohol, water vapor, vapors of water, like this, or water vapor. But we are saying, we are not going to say that vapors of oxygen, vapors of hydrogen, vapors of nitrogen, vapors of carbon dioxide, but we are saying oxygen gas, nitrogen gas, hydrogen gas, carbon dioxide gas. It means whenever we are saying vapor, whenever we are saying gas, there is some difference. Whenever a substance has standard state, liquid or solid, benzene, The standard state of benzene is liquid. The standard state of alcohol is liquid. The standard state of water is liquid. It means their standard state is liquid. We are converting them into gas. In such case, we are saying vapors. Whereas the standard state of oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide is gas. Means we are pronouncing vapor whenever a liquid or solid is converted into gas. Why we are pronouncing them as vapor? Because their standard state is liquid state or solid state. But for oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide or any other gases, we are using gas only because their standard state is gaseous state. Okay. Next one. Enthalpy of sublimation. Sublimation means the process in which a solid changes directly into gas on heating below its melting point. Here the condition is that below its melting point a solid is converted into a vapor, a solid is converted into a gaseous state, and we call it as sublimation. Enthalpy of sublimation. Enthalpy of sublimation means the change in heat energy of the system when 1 mole of a solid substance changes into gaseous substance at a given temperature below its melting point is called enthalpy of sublimation. Just I repeat, here the amount of heat energy required or absorbed by the system when 1 mole of a solid changes into gaseous at a given temperature below its melting point. Understood? Below its melting point, if a solid converts to a gas, during that we are supplying heat energy. That heat energy nothing but enthalpy of sublimation. Here one example is given, that is sublimation of iodine. Iodine, solid iodine, we are on heating, it is converted into gaseous iodine or vapors of iodine. We are calling here vapors because the standard state of iodine is solid. So enthalpy of sublimation is plus 62.3 kilojoules per mole. It means to convert 1 mole of iodine to 1 mole of iodine vapors, gaseous iodine, it requires 62.3 kilojoules of heat energy. Okay. Sublimation is not shown by all the solids, but it is shown by only molecular solids. We have different types of solids. Among them, there are ionic solids, molecular solids, covalent solids and metallic solids. You will learn in detail in your second year class. So just I briefly explain. Just I repeat: ionic solids, covalent solids, metallic solids and molecular solids. I am taking last molecular solids because I have to tell in detail about that. So ionic solids, in ionic solids ions are there: sodium chloride, potassium chloride, calcium sulfate, calcium carbonate, etc. These are the ionic solids because the constituent particles are ions. Covalent solids, diamond is a covalent solid, graphite is a covalent solid because atoms are the constituent atoms and these atoms are bonded by covalent bond. Silicon carbide is a covalent solid. Understood? Means silicon oxide SiO2 is a covalent solid. It means atoms are the constituent particles and they are bonded by a covalent bond. Such type of solids are called covalent solids. Then metallic solids: iron, copper, silver, gold, etc. are the metals, and they have a special type of bond that is called metallic bond. You will learn in detail about that metallic bond in the second year classes, so I am not going to say that here. Metal kernel and free mobile electrons are the constituent particles, so these are nothing but the metallic solids. Understood? Molecular solids, molecules are the constituent particles, and these have very weak intermolecular attraction. Ionic solid, ionic force is there, electrovalent force is there, covalent force is present in covalent solids, metallic attraction force is there in metallic solids. You will learn in detail in the second year. Just molecular solids have very weak attraction force, that is nothing but van der Waals force. Again, van der Waals force, London forces, dipole forces, dipole induced dipole forces, you know already. Anyway, their weak intermolecular attraction is there. Because of that weak intermolecular attraction, they can vaporize. They are not converting into liquids. They are not going to the liquid state. Directly they are going to the gaseous state. It means any solids which are having weak intermolecular attraction, they will undergo sublimation. Sodium chloride do not undergo sublimation because sodium chloride is not a molecular solid. Sodium chlorine are attracted by strong force of attraction, ionic force of attraction, ionic bond which is very strong. Diamond is not vaporized directly. Graphite not vaporized directly because they have strong attraction. Iron on heating not converts to vapors of iron because they have a strong attraction. But ammonium chloride, iodine, camphor on heating directly they convert into gas because they have weak intermolecular attraction. Understood? So sublimation is shown by the solids which are having weak intermolecular attraction. Okay. Now we can say that sublimation is nothing but the sum of fusion and vaporization. Fusion, that is conversion of solid to liquid. Vaporization, liquid to vapor. The sum of these two energy nothing but enthalpy of sublimation. Okay. Next, this is about different types of enthalpies of phase transition, means state transition. Solid to liquid, liquid to vapor, vapor to liquid, liquid to solid, solid directly into vapor, vapor directly into solid, like this. These are the some enthalpy of phase transition. Now we are moving to the next part, that is Hess law of constant heat summation. Hess, the name of the scientist. Constant heat summation. Constant means the value is constant. Heat summation, summation nothing but addition. What is that? You will understand now. It was proposed by G.H. Hess in the year 1840. Statement: the total amount of heat released or absorbed in a reaction is the same whether the reaction takes place in one step or in a number of steps. We have one reaction. It may be carried out in single step or it may be carried out in many steps. For example, let us consider a reaction A to D. Enthalpy of the reaction is Q kilojoules of heat energy. The reaction may take place in different steps. That is, A may be converting into B. This is the enthalpy, Q1 kilojoules. B is converted to C. Then C is converted to D. And these are the enthalpies of the reactions. Understood? We have one reaction. In that reaction, reactant A is converted to product D. This conversion may be a direct one. If we took it as direct one, this will be the amount of heat energy involved in this reaction. If we consider it is taking place in different steps. Let us consider A is converted first into B, then B is converted to C, then C is converted to D. Then these are the different enthalpies of the reaction at different steps. Okay. Many steps, the enthalpy of the reaction is constant. Next, bond enthalpy or bond energy. Bond enthalpy. The amount of energy released when one mole of bonds are formed from the isolated atoms in the gaseous state is called bond energy. For example, there is formation of H2, and this H2 is formed from hydrogen. This is isolated atom. Isolated atoms are there, and their potential energy is very high. Potential energy of hydrogen is very high. Whenever they come, there is attraction force. Because of that attraction, the system loses energy. So whenever 2 moles of hydrogen atoms unite to give 1 mole of hydrogen molecule, then the amount of energy released during this process is nothing but a bond enthalpy or bond energy. In reverse, we can say that amount of heat energy supplied to break the bond of a molecule in the gaseous state to convert into atoms. Means whenever there is formation of H2 molecule, energy is released. To convert this H2 molecule into hydrogen atom, we have to supply the heat energy, and this process is nothing but this energy is nothing but bond enthalpy or bond energy. Okay. The amount of energy released when 1 mole of bonds are formed from the isolated atoms in the gaseous state is called bond energy or bond enthalpy, or the amount of energy absorbed to dissociate 1 mole of bonds present between the atoms in the gaseous molecule is called bond enthalpy or bond energy. It is denoted by delta Hb. Okay, and bond enthalpy for diatomic molecule like nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, chlorine, HCl, HF, etc. Bond energies are equal to bond dissociation energy. Only to HCl to break this bond, amount of heat energy supplied to break this bond is nothing but bond enthalpy. Understood? So for diatomic molecules, their bond energy equal to bond dissociation energy. In case of polyatomic molecules means different types of molecules, different atoms are present in the molecules, different bonds have different bond enthalpy or bond energy. Okay, by this I am going to conclude today's class. Thank you.